Hey, I was thinking about something that I've said at one of my events, my most recent event, and realized I never made a video out of that, and I wanted to today. And that's that there are an infinite amount of assets that we have that we don't think about because we're so busy chasing things that we perceive as assets that we don't have. And if we focused on the assets that we have and really took advantage of what we have, we would be able to easily accomplish acquiring the assets that we think we want, and much better. So most of us think, for instance, that they want a relationship, or they think that they want money. Of course, we need money, understandable. People think that they want less addictions, more, less anxiety, less fear, whatever it is. So we trick ourselves with our mind to think that's the goal and that I'm going to chase that thing. And we don't know about the assets that we have that we never pay attention to. And the assets that we have all the time, no matter who you are, include things like being able to focus on your breathing. Now, this sounds so stupid to so many people, and immediately it's dismissed by a mind that's busy searching for a specific thing. It immediately just hears that as fluff and goes, that's just so stupid. Yeah, that's great. You go ahead and focus on your breath. Well, there's problems going on in the world, and some of us need to eat, Kyle. I understand. But try it. Discover what happens when you unhook from trying to change so many things in the world and trying to chase things and trying to chase people's approval and trying to chase money, and actually discover what happens when you we put 8 hours a day, some of us, into jobs we don't even like so we can chase the asset of money. What would happen if you spent 8 hours a day in the assets of being in nature? Not all of us, definitely, but many of us have the ability to go into nature. Now, it sounds stupid to so many people. It sounds stupid to the mind. But what we can't see is that when we focus on the assets that we have and stop chasing the assets that we don't have, we end up discovering ideas, connections to ourselves, confidence, a lack of need for those external things, which makes those things want us. Ascension, and what I mean by ascension is moving up and letting go of the collective consciousness of the world. The ability to help free other people, which is worth something. What about our creativity? We all have creativity. But if we're spending 8 hours a day somewhere we don't like, we're not tapping into it. How much money are we losing by not listening to our creativity? Because we're so busy chasing money. You have an infinite amount of assets in you. And one thing I write about in my book and talk about, and what I talk about at our flow group sometimes, is I have people write out a list of assets that they have. First, I have them write out like 50 things that they love. And if you want, you can try this. Write out 50 things that you love. You might go, I love gardening. I love getting attention. I love playing. I love whatever it is. I love my mom. I love my friends. I love time alone. I love tea. I love coffee. Whatever it is. These just sound like things you love, but these are assets. Now, they're not assets in a way that your mind can see directly how you'll get something from them. But what you don't understand is when you release the part of you that's trying to get something and you go into the part of you that is, everything starts to come to you because you're available to have it. It's not corniness. This isn't weird, fake stuff. This is actually real because you're safe for people, because they sense that you don't need something from them. because you've created a place for them to be heard, because you've created a place where people want to know what you have, because you have now got the asset of the highest thing you are, which is really the number one thing we're all chasing, that inner peace, that freedom, that being. And then with your creativity and 8 hours a day in that, what would that be like? Now, that's not me saying go quit your job right away, but it is me saying spend more time with the assets that you have that you don't know that you have. Another thing I have people write down are things that they're good at. They write down things that they're good at, like it might not be things they love. They just might be good at it because they've done it their whole life. And it could be something so basic. I have them write it down and write out, well, I'm good at riding a bike. I'm good at running a computer. I'm good at filming. I'm good at editing. I'm good at listening. I'm good at being a space for people. I'm good at talking through my stuff. I'm good at writing. I'm good at playing. I'm good at whatever it is. So I give them these categories. I go, write down 50 things you love. Then write down 50 things you're good at. And I recommend to you to try this. And then after that, write down some things you've learned from your life experiences. What are some things you've learned from your life experiences? Like, I've learned from going 90 days raw vegan and then learning how to let go of everything that feels heavy, that when you let go of something I learned when I was with my friend Diego, and he actually said the sentence, but when you let go of something, you can measure what you will lose. You can't see what you'll gain. So I learned that, and that became one of the core revelations in my life, and one of the things that I live by, letting go of things that feel heavy and moving into what feels light, and then learning how to speak about that. When you're in your head, you can only see one way or the other. When you're in your heart, you can see all of it. It makes everything work, right? So what are some things you've learned? You might have learned on a date, don't say this on a date. You might have learned, if you've broken up a ton of times, how to get over someone, how to bounce back. If you've been in a 20-year relationship, you might have learned how to stay in one, how to work through things, how to work through yourself. Everyone has all of these incredible assets that they don't know they have because their mind has disqualified it because it's not something that's been done, so it's totally original. And their mind is looking for what's been done already so it can see evidence that it'll be safe because it's already been done. So things that you love, things that you understand, things you're good at, that's huge, right? I'll tell you some other categories another time, but if I give you too much, no one will do anything. But what are things that you understand just from your life? Just from your life experiences? Everything that you understand could be a book. Everything that you understand from your life experience, and don't minimize it. Don't go, yeah, don't say this on a date. That's a good book. How about negative things you've learned? What are things that you think are about you? What do you think things that there are about you that you don't like that actually could be your asset? You might say, well, I'm overweight. I'm too old. You don't realize that's an asset that you can use. Because if you think I'm too old, maybe you're not seeing that there's a whole different demographic that never feels catered to or heard at an age that would finally go, oh, you understand what I understand. I could listen to you. You're an asset. All these things that you think are what's wrong with you are what's unique about you. People might go, yeah, well, I complain. There's nothing for me to do. I complain all the time. You could be a comedian. I gossip a lot. You could have a show on the E! Channel. You could work for TMZ. There's so many things that you could be doing that impact people, that could help people. You could create a show. You could bring all your greatness in and create something. You could create a podcast. You could bring that into whatever you're selling now. You have the ability to be in this moment. You have the Kalego exercise that we do at our events. Kalego is where you talk about what's coming up as if it already happened. So if I made this video right now, but I pretend that I made it a year ago, and I started going, oh my God, ever since I made that video, I kept working out, I got into my body, I allowed myself to go away in nature, I became so much closer with my fiance, I became closer with myself, I connected so much more to everything, I allowed myself to enjoy life more, to really enjoy these assets that I had, my life was so much bigger, and then I helped so many more people. You have that ability to help so many people. You have all these things that you've written off as not an asset that matters because you're so busy trying to get that one person to like you, or scrolling through Facebook all day, or looking for the right beer, or trying to get money. Meanwhile, all you are is an abundance of all of that. And when you finally become that, people will want to align with you. They'll want to connect to you. They'll want to give you reciprocation and time and work with you. They'll want to connect with, there's so many different things that you have that is right here. And if you train yourself to spend time loving the assets that you have, even the ones that you think are negative, loving the assets that you have, oxygen, the ability to connect, creating, Kalego, feeling just the blood moving through your body, the ability to accept this moment, the ability to learn. How about that? You have the asset of learning anytime. You have the asset of YouTube and every speaker available. Everything you've ever wanted to learn how to do this, it's on YouTube. It's on Google. You have the asset of Google. You can find anything. You can do anything you want. But we've all been overlooking these assets because we're so busy looking at the assets that we don't have. And I know there's some people that are really not as well off in this situation. And that's a reason we have to pay attention to these assets so we can help those people. So we can bring love and the truth of our assets as the underlying truth of what we are, and make that more of a bottom line than scarcity, fear, domination, money, war. Those aren't assets we want. Those are the byproducts of ignoring the assets that we are. You don't need to control anyone. You don't need to worry because you have a million assets. And if you take the time after this to write out the assets that you have, your mind will start to see you have all these possibilities, and it'll start to think in a different dimension of other things you have, and you'll move to a place of massive gratitude and work from what you have versus what you don't have. Everything you think is wrong with you is an asset. Everything you think is right with you is an asset, and everything you're missing is an asset. Everything is perfect. So if you want to really switch things around, give it a shot today. Thanks.